to get on with support for Streamlabs. It's working now, but it took me like the whole hour. So I'll stay on a little bit after 4 here. What I was trying to say before when the volume wasn't working is that we probably had a move to the upside coming based on this this Hierophant like pop and drop. And it was possible that the pop and drop, the Hierophant pop and drop was here, but my sense is that we had a move to the upside based on this Herkimer diamond, and it looks like that pretty much is what took place. Right, so notable decline here. And then we have this cross-reading congruency the following day with this tower card. Hey Tabriz, hey AV, sorry about that guys, we're having some technical difficulties there. Do I think we hit the bottom for the week? Hard to say really, Tabriz, because this stuff right here at the end of the week is really kind of challenging. I think we probably have a trough. That double X there and the double X there. We probably have a trough here, like at the beginning of the day on the 5th, maybe. Hard to say if it's lower than where we are now. It probably isn't, but it could be. There's these runes here giving me highest high kind of information. But again, I think that the second is probably the highest price level for the month. We could revisit it here, but based on what we've done thus far, it's more likely that they're just prominent crests. And then there's this this coin here at the end of the week that could be, it could be involved in the end of the week, the end of the day of the 6th, or it could be involved at the beginning of the month. It's hard to kind of place where that is, what that's interpreting or what that's trying to tell me because of where it is on the board. Hey Deduct, we were close to 200-day DMA. They changed it so much I can't even figure out where to set up a DMA on here. No. Here we go. Where are my moving averages? Okay, I'm not sure what that did. There's a chance that we are at the lows, but we probably revisit it one more time, low for the week. We probably revisit it one more time, either like the cusp of the 4th, 5th, or maybe end of the day on the 6th. I have a feeling that these are just going to be prominent peaks here. Appreciate it, Deduct. Tomorrow is bearish, right? It looks like it's bearish, yeah. It looks like it's mixed, frankly. There's a trade opportunity first thing in the morning, opening up a short position and closing it in the midst of a decline. Opening up right at the open at a high where we have key resistance. It's the piece card, so it might be that same piece card that I just marked off. Wow. That would be interesting. And for whatever reason, it didn't save. Oh, no, it did. See, this is piece card right here. Tomorrow we have piece card in the morning. We likely open higher, but we don't stay higher. We there's a rally off of a low in the pre-market, or a rally out of a low in the pre-market. We come to resistance right around the open. There's a trade opportunity to open up a short position for a day trade there, and then you would close the day trade in the midst of a decline there out of the open, or out of that key resistance, which is probably this price level based on where we are. It may not be, but I wouldn't be surprised if this price level right here that we marked off as 2 of Swords, which is the piece card, I wouldn't be surprised if that's where we end up. And then out of that decline, we probably then rally back to that same price level again to see the high again. So in the midst of that decline, you could close the short position and open up a long position, close the long position probably before noontime when we have a big move to the upside. It's pretty mixed. But I would expect a pretty big drop here first thing in the morning. And then again at the end of the day, it looks like. Hey, Hamza. Hamza, we're no longer doing full predictions. You must have missed that, but it's incomplete on purpose. We're no longer giving away the whole month. We only give away the first week. What's wrong with the audio? Oh, well, I appreciate that, AV. Thanks for letting me know. I know Inside Candle. He's cool. Hey, it was luck. Is a bounce back to 440 possible this week or next? Thanks for your insights. To 440? Yikes. That would be some move. I don't think so. I don't think we go to 440. If we did see 440, it would be here towards the end of the week, maybe the Ace of Swords or the very end of the week there. But I really doubt it. I really doubt it. I think this right here was the high, the second, right, which would make 440 way out of the range of our high and low for the month. If we end up with a higher price level here on the 5th, 6th than we have here on the 2nd, then I would say 440 at towards the end of the week, of the second week, becomes much more probable, but that's not my expectation. There's a bear harming candle to the downside. I never heard bear harming candle. Could you what day are we talking about? Deduct. I would like to look at that on the chart. Will PLTR meet $13.85 by the end of this week? Yes or no? It looks like we got a yes for that. Yeah, that looks pretty sound. Like that's probably going to take place. And I got a yes for it, so 3 yeses actually. The big bearish candle today. Oh, this one right here. So that's called a bear harming candle. Interesting. I've never heard that term. I'll have to take a look, learn more about it. So based on that, classical technical analysis would indicate that we're going to have another big red candlestick. See, I think we're probably going to open... 'cause, 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 I think we're probably opening higher. We're probably opening up near this level here for 2270 something, and then we'll decline from that around the open. We'll decline pretty notably. That's where there's a pretty sharp decline first thing in the morning off of the high. And there's two scalp trades in there, one to the downside, one to the upside, it looks like. But overall, I want to be getting into a long position, guys. The decline off of the high offers an opportunity to open up a long position. Oh, and then we've got the Hierophant card there. Whew. Yeah, but this double X appearing at the beginning of the day on the 5th and the end of the day on the 4th really has some indication of a trough. But I think this is going to be a mixed day with a sharp drop at the beginning of the day, probably another a sharp drop at the end of the day, but pretty mixed, guys. So what you're talking about, Deduct, I would call a cross-analysis congruency. A cross-analysis congruency where you have different forms of analysis saying the same thing. You can't really have cross-analysis congruencies with fundamental and technical analysis, but you can definitely have a cross-analysis congruency with technical analysis and SO meta-analysis. They could be saying very similar things, which adds gravitas to the prediction, obviously. It gives it more weight. But that's really where the power comes into play, Deduct. If you know a lot about technical analysis and you utilize your knowledge from technical analysis with these like answers to technical analysis questions that SO meta analysis provides, that's where the real power, where the real edge comes into play if you combine the two. Because you should be able to, utilizing basically just normal logic, you should be able to determine price levels utilizing SO meta in conjunction with technical analysis. You should be able to predict price levels. Not all price levels, but pretty well. So tomorrow I'll just run through it real quick one more time. Oh, my fault. I also wanted to real quick review Avalanche 2023, which was created on September 2nd. Excuse me. Yeah, it was created on... Interesting. Why does it say that? So there's that. What's the movie look like? Well, in any case, so we have a highest high. So we have a prominent peak or crest here in January, February. And you can see we have this prominent peak that took place here at the end of January, and then a slightly higher one at the beginning of February, right? With a trough in between. And then the peak in February, which ended up being a highest high, we didn't catch it as a highest high, but we did catch it as a prominent peak or crest. Happens sometimes. In any case, that peak, the decline off of that peak offered opportunity to open up a long position. And you can see how that took place. We had this opportunity, this decline off of it to open up a long position. And then we go into pretty close to a lowest low there in March, where we have indication of a lowest low. And then we have another highest high here in April. And you can see we have a highest high here in April. A lowest low in August. So we caught this sharp drop in July. Or excuse me, the sharp drop in June, I should say, in the end of June before this move in July to the upside. So that was pretty solid. And then we went into a lower low in August. And then we have a lower low, it looks like, here on the cusp of September, October. So this is pretty solid, guys. This was a really solid reading. If you followed through and you opened up a long position off of the decline from the February high, you would have been able to make a significant amount of money. If you opened up a short position around this March low and closed it at basically the same high in April, you would have made a solid amount of money. And then if you opened up a short position there and closed the short position in August, you would have made a solid amount of money. Or if you closed it in the beginning of July, you would have made a solid amount of money. If you held it and you looked to close it on the cusp of September, October, you would have made a solid amount of money, my friends. This reading was done a year ago. That's ESO Meta Analysis. If you're interested in getting a one-year report for any ticker or crypto symbol that you're interested that the channel doesn't seem to be covering, there's a great way to do that here. It's a good way to support the channel. You do that on our website, tarotfortraders.com, under ESO Meta Services. You have to log in, so you have to create a free account, log in, and then you go to ESO Meta Services. Scroll down to one-year report. And when you're logged in, it gives you this this form where you fill out the year that you're interested in getting the report for, and you fill out the ticker symbol or crypto, and you get a report, a one-year report for if you order 2024 or whatever you order. You get a one-year report, which this is very much a one-year report. You've got the theme, the overall trend, what it's kind of crossed with or helped out by. You've got the high significator, the low significator, and then each cluster of 4 cards here represents information about 1 month out of the year, going from left to right, so January, February, March. And you get information about the overall trend direction of each month, the overall trend direction of the year, where the highs and the lows are to the month, sometimes to the part of the month. Lots of information. We don't see everything. We see a lot. We're not right all the time. We're right most of the time. And you could see those trades played out pretty well. So the paid version, we talk about the best trades. Moving forward, all of our 2024 readings, we're only giving away the first season, the first quarter of the year. Everything else is behind the paywall. You have to get the paid version to get the rest of the reading. We're tired of just eating scraps and everybody else making money. So we want to make money too. That's the change. Can I please pull a card for tomorrow's low on SPY? What do you mean for its low? Oh, will it drop below 420, 418? I think we're probably going to revisit the same low. I don't think we're necessarily going lower, guys. I think we might be in a bit of a range. It is possible that we go lower because of the theme card being the tower card, but I feel like a lot of that energy probably took place here. Or if we have a pretty big drop overnight and we open much lower, I'm wrong about opening higher and we open much lower, I would say that was the tower card, and then I would be a lot more bullish on the day. But if we don't have a big drop overnight, then I would say I'm probably more bearish on the day. 420, right? I got a yes. We hit 420. Do we go to 418 tomorrow? That one was a little inconclusive. I don't think we do, guys. Yeah, I gotta know. I don't think we go below 420. I mean, we might. That ace of discs, I think, is a move to the upside, though. I really discourage people from doing out of the money options when utilizing ESO Meta Analysis, and I'll explain why. Because out of the money options, I learned the hard way. I lost a lot of money using out of the money options, because what would happen is I'd be right about the moves, the timing of the moves, and these big moves based on ESO Meta Analysis, but because I was out of the money, the move didn't take me into any intrinsic value. It was just a move in the right direction, but I still only had time value at the end of the move. And therefore, even though I was right about the moves, I end up losing money because they're out of the money options. You should really avoid out of the money options, especially if you're only trading using SO Meta. If you're using technical analysis, you might be able to get away with it a little bit more. But again, guys, I really advise against out of the money options. You're much, much better off. You're going to make a lot more money. It might seem like it's slower, but it'll be more steady. And in that regard, it's actually faster because it's more consistent, right? So you want to do at the money options, or even better, in the money options. If you're going to do out of the money options, I wouldn't go more than like $1 or $2. And that would be in a case where like I'm really, really, really confident there's going to be a huge move. And then with that said, if I'm wrong and my options end up being deeper out of the money, I would close that and take the loss. You want to avoid out of the money options. I promise you will do much better within the money and at the money options. It's a little bit more expensive, but you will make more money more consistently. I promise you that. Yes, on the monthly, you have mentioned that coming from the drop on the 3rd, we bounce into the 4th. Yeah. So we probably see the low again, but I don't think we go lower per se. How does Gala Games look middle of October? Hey, Robert. You're welcome to Doc. I'm going to respond to your message on the website. I've been so busy recently, I just kind of slipped my mind, but I'm going to get to that, my friend. It's funny, guys. I'm really good at doing certain things, like predicting the stock market to the hour, but checking my emails. I like need an assistant to check my emails for me, man. It's like idiot savant status in some regards. All right. So Gala Games, middle of October. Between now and the middle of October, what's Gala Games' overall trend? Out of a decline, we have a big move from the bottom of a range to the top of a range. And then the remaining, the second half of October, what's the overall trend direction for Gala Games? Selling from a near overbought peak or crest, so it's pretty mixed, Robert, throughout October. You're welcome, my friends. Okay, so what I would do real quick, if I got into a long position in the midst of this trough here, the Ace of Discs, I would then look to close that long position when we open higher, probably around this price level here, this piece price level of 422.70-ish. I would look to close the long position somewhere there around the open and open up a short position in anticipation of this move out of the high to the downside, out of the open, out of that resistance to the downside. And I would probably exit out of that position by the time we reach 420. Might be leaving money on the table by doing that, but I think it's probably the wise move. Take the profit and go. And then open up a long position at that price level again around the 420-ish and close it when we revisit the price level, the high that we left, that we fell from right around the open, which is most likely right here around 422. But if it's not, whatever that price level it is where we are right around the open, I would close the long position at that price level. And then there's a lot going on throughout the rest of the day. Oh, and this is a cross-trade incongruency right here. Wow, I totally missed that. Right? So we have here on the 5th, the completion card. We have the completion card here on the 4th. On the 3rd, we have what? We have the... I didn't miss it. I notated it. We have the tower card. So in consecutive order from tower to completion, tower to completion. That's what you call cross-trade incongruencies. All right, my friends, I'm going to roll. I have the 200-day moving average at 424, my friends. Well, it's the exponential moving average, but that's where I have it at 424. So we've technically already broken through it right here. You know, I didn't even see any flooding in New York, Robert. I heard my parents in Florida were like, "Oh my God, we saw on the news that water's so high in New York." Like, I didn't notice. It rained for like 5 days straight, but I didn't see like floods in the street or anything like that. All right, my friends, I'm going to roll. My dog really wants to go to the park now. Thanks so much for watching. Sorry about the technical issues. I'll try to be on early tomorrow, make up for it. But with that said, as always, make sure to follow that rule of karma, guys. You do so here on the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, where we ask that you donate 5% of the profits forward to one of these charities. Super easy. Just click here on one of these charities. It's so easy. All you got to do. And then 5% of the profits donated here. We're going to add Zelle to this list to make it easier. But that supports the channel, guys. It says thank you, and it keeps things interesting for us here at Tarot for Traders. Not to mention it allows us to produce the content that we do. Leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you follow that threefold rule, you're following the rule of karma for the channel. The universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold. All right, my friends?